Hello and welcome to this special addendum to the Self-Publishing Formula podcast. We've slipped this one in between regular episodes because Mark has just finished a Facebook Live. Well, very late into last night he finished it, it's now the next morning. And we thought it was such a good, useful Q&A that we'd rebroadcast it to the podcast audience. Actually, we get lots of questions every week on email from podcast listeners asking about when they should publish or how many books they need to start advertising, all those sorts of good questions. And last night Mark spent well over an hour answering all of them, so I think it's very useful. Hope that you enjoy it and you get some value out of it, and we'll be back with the regular podcast on Friday, so enjoy.
I've got tons and tons of questions in the group or on the page that I'll try and get through this evening. I'm guessing I might be on for about an hour. So if you have questions, please feel free to leave them and I'll get through as many as possible. We're also hoping that this might be broadcast as a podcast, kind of a bonus podcast a bit later on. So we will see. So first of all, let me give you a quick look around the room. You know, if you're in the States and go this way, you'll know that maybe you don't know, I'm a big American football fan. And for Christmas last year, I was given a Dan Marino jersey signed by Mr. Marino himself. So yeah, big Miami Dolphins fan. So that's sitting behind me. This is my study. It's also kind of like a cinema room as well. So hopefully you can hear me okay. Should all be good. I think the internet is reasonably stable tonight. So we're going to get through as many questions as possible. So let me scroll down because I'm using some funky software. I can even show them on the screen and then I can answer them. So let's have a little look. So let's start with Mr. Nick Brooks. Hello, Nick. Nick asks, I won't be around to see your Q&A, but I wanted to ask, should I hang back for the Self-Publishing 101 course instead of ads? I'm a traditionally published novelist, only just getting to grips with this stuff. I only have a very old website I haven't updated since 2014 and no new books to sell as yet. Thanks, Nick Brooks. Well, Nick, I would recommend, without knowing too much more than that, I think you'll probably get more out of the 101 course. So I would say hang around and see how that goes. Niacy there just says she can't hear anything. I think everyone can hear me. If you can, just drop a comment just to say that you can. Seems to be okay. Maybe try and unmute your try and unmute your speakers perhaps. Should be okay, I think. Okay, so let's keep cracking on. So Angela Petch, hello Angela, she says that the time seems to have changed from the original ad. No, it was always this time. Is this about Facebook ads? It can be. We can answer any questions at all really about publishing, Facebook ads, Amazon ads, whatever you like. Anyway, my question, she says, is about reviews. They're being removed left, right, and centre. What can we do about it? Amazon is such a mighty force to contend with. Well, reviews. First of all, I'd say, I am aware, obviously, that there has been a kerfuffle in the community about reviews being removed. The last time, the big kerfuffle about 10 days ago, which saw lots of reviews being reviewed, even J.K. Rowling's books were affected. She lost thousands of reviews on the Harry Potter series. It was a glitch. Amazon makes mistakes now and again. Someone made a bit of a mistake, and the reviews went, but then they came back again quite quickly. So I always would recommend against panicking when this kind of thing happens, because often it will be a mistake, just as simple as that. So but even saying that, I have had a few reviews on the cleaner, for example. I had 1,000 reviews in the States. I was quite pleased about that, and then found out the next day that I had 999. So yeah, reviews do go every now and again. I mean, algorithmically, I think Amazon is keeping an eye on things these days and just making sure, or is reasonably swift to remove reviews it thinks might be sketchy, even if we know that they're not sketchy. So I wouldn't worry about it too much. There are ways to accelerate review growth, and that's covered in both the 101 course and the Ads for Authors course. But spoiler alert: build a mailing list. That's the best way to do it, and then build an advanced team. That kind of thing will enable you to get reviews more quickly and accelerate the normal growth of reviews. Okay, let's answer another one. Aubrey DeWet. Sorry, it's covered my face completely. I'm going to take that off the screen and just read this one to you. So, hi, Mark. About Novellas shorts. What are your feelings about selling Novellas as part of your primary offering? What has been the uptake of your Hong Kong trilogy, for instance, as opposed to using Novellas as lead magnets and giveaways? I'm thinking about bookshots type books, specifically in the thriller genre. Well, I can certainly speak with some authority about that, given that I've been doing it for a while. I've had, I think, 6 or 7 novellas, and they've generally sold pretty well. Phoenix was one that sells really strongly. I mean, this is like 18 months after it came out. It still does $2,000 or $3,000 a month with no promotion, save a few AMS ads. But yeah, that's been really effective. The other thing that you can do with novellas is you can bundle them. So I have the Group 15 novellas that I'm writing collaboratively with people like Scott Mariani, Steve Kavanagh, and Michael Ridpath, and then you can bundle them. So instead of charging in the UK $1.99 or $2.99 in the States to get that 70% royalty, you can put them together and then charge $5.99 maybe. And those work quite well. And the Hong Kong trilogy that you referenced, I wrote those, 3 years ago, I suppose now, and they're 20,000 words each. So 60,000 in the first box set. They still sell really well. They're one of the better selling items because people go from my Beatrix and Isabella series, which are published by Thomas and Mercer, get loads and loads of traction, and they want more of those characters, or more Beatrix in this case, and they then go and pick those up. So yes, they have worked pretty well. Okay. So I'm a little bit hay fevery today, so hopefully I'm not sniffing too much. Demian says, is it a good idea to run brand awareness ads before an ad for lead capturing or selling? Do we have data if this strategy would be worthwhile ROI-wise? It is worthwhile, but that is ninja. That's pretty complicated stuff. You can run ads with engagement as or brand awareness as. I think maybe you're not asking the question I think you're asking. What I would say, the kind of the ninja tactic, is to run an ad with the objective as engagement, to see how it performs, whether it gets good likes, good shares, that kind of thing. And then when you can use that as your test bed. When you've got a formulation that works effectively, then you can break out that audience and you can push the ads out, the proper sale ads, push them out that way. That is fairly technical. Not many people would do that, and it also requires capital that you are prepared to spend in order to get the data, because you're not going to get many sales, if any sales, on those kinds of engagement ads. Okay, good question, Demian. Okay, so Leslie, hello Leslie, she says, free giveaways, are they worth it? Especially as she's asleep, so I'm immediately envious. Free giveaways, are they worth it if combined with a book club, or can you get there in the end without? Yes, they are absolutely worth it. There's a very good question, or at least a comment in the group, which immediately got 100 comments. It's always very emotive. People will always describe or consider whether free giveaways are a good thing or a bad thing. I'm pretty, my colours were nailed to the mast a long time ago. I think they're a good thing. If you're a new author, you need to reduce all barriers to potential readers reading your stuff, and price is a barrier. Let's be honest about that. You can run those kind of BookBub campaigns on a free book, or Free Booksy, or Amazon ads, or Facebook ads. Drive those free books out as much as possible. Get them into as many hands as possible, as many readers exposed to them, and then build your list. So give something else away at the end of that free book to get them on your list, or make it really easy for them to progress through the rest of your series or the rest of your books if you don't write series. But absolutely, in my opinion, it's still a really effective tactic. Okay, Margin says, is there an advantage to having more than one book to advertise? Should you hold off advertising until you have more books? Well, there is an advantage. Obviously, you've got read-through. So if I have book 1 and then book 2, 3, 4, and 5, if book 1 is good, I can't help you with that. But if book 1 is good, then you can see read-through progressing into the rest of your series. That all being said, although it is a benefit, I don't think it's essential. So if you're starting out, I think you should. If I was starting out now, I would be running ads, knowing what I do now, to build my list so I'm ready to go when I've got book 2. So it's helpful, but not essential. Sorry, I'm a bit sniffy. Ian Patrick, this is a long question, so I will just read this one out. Further to the question from Leslie about giveaways, what's your feeling about free promos compared to countdowns on 99 cent or $1.99 promos? I find with companies like FreeBooks, in my book code, Gorilla, K&D, and others, I get a fantastic response on freebies and a pitiful response on cut price offers. The scary thing about this is it suggests there are so many offers out there that readers are saying to themselves, I'll pick up the whole lot of freebies rather than even spend $1. So yeah, this kind of goes back to what I said. Some authors are now thinking that we're training readers to expect to pay nothing for books. It doesn't, for me, I've not seen that at all. I think, my books, they launch at $4.99 or $5.99 and they do very, very well. Redeemer is still selling 100 copies a day after it came out in May. Early May, so it's 6 weeks ago, still doing well. I really don't think readers think that way. I think if there's a book that they want, they'll get it. So your job as authors and marketers is to get your book into their hands, write such a good book that when the next book comes out, they're not interested in those free books. What they want is to get your next book. That's the key. That's the equation that you need to master. I can help you, and people like me can help you to get the book into the hands of the readers. But once it's there, then it's your job. You have to write something so good that they learn from it, if it's nonfiction, or they're thrilled by it, or they're moved emotionally so much so that they want to have that experience again. So that really is over to you at that point. But no, from my perspective, I don't see that as a worry at all. Verdi, hello Verdi. She says, or he says, I'm sorry, it's a name I don't recognize. What steps are necessary to publish a book? I've limited finances at the moment and need to publish and market my book. It's been proofread and now in the hands of my beta readers. Verdi, you need to look at the 101 course. You don't even need to look at the 101 course, to be honest. Please don't spend too much money on getting the book out there. You can learn to get it done, get a cover, get it formatted. It doesn't have to cost a lot of money. And then just get it up there onto the platforms and ready to sell or ready to give away, whatever your model is, get it into the hands of your readers. But please don't feel that you can't do that if you don't have the money to spend on it. Okay, so Kerry says, what about if your books are only physical books? I'm not sure what the context is there. If it's about advertising, I think it might be about advertising. You of course, can sell anything with digital ads. You can do that with Facebook ads. You can do that with AMS ads. If you're running not through KDP necessarily, but through the vendor platform, so Seller Central, Advantage, those kinds of Amazon platforms will allow you to sell physical products rather than just the digital ones. Okay, Peter Rendell says, what are your thoughts about Amazon not allowing a review posting unless you spent $50 with them this year? I'm pretty relaxed about that, to be honest, Peter. I don't know, most people I know would spend $50 on Amazon in a month. I'd probably spend it in a week. But yeah, it doesn't bother me particularly. And I think it's good. I mean, I think anything that makes it more difficult for spammers to spam reviews or to get fake reviews on their spam products has to be applauded. Amazon is doing its best, as far as I can see, to sort that problem out. And I think that's a fairly low limit in order to filter out people who are just setting up fake accounts or bot accounts and then buying fake reviews. Seems reasonable to me. Sheila, I have my book printed already. Just need marketing tips, really. What I would really love is information on getting work seen by TV companies. Thanks. Well, why is that important? I don't know. Why is that important? For me, it isn't. I mean, I've been lucky enough that my stuff has come into the hands of TV companies, but it was something that I couldn't control, and so I didn't worry too much about it. I think the best way to get your book into the hands of TV companies is to sell as many copies as you can, and then good things just tend to happen. People will come to you at that point. But for me, but I can't really tell you how to do that because it's not something that has ever really exercised me particularly. Okay, Peter then asks another question. What are your thoughts on Amazon stating if you're an author of a book in a specific genre, then you can't post reviews for books in the same genre? I don't think that's true. I've never seen that. If anyone has seen that, then link to the Amazon policy that says that, because it's not. I've never seen that. I haven't been stopped from reviewing things, although to be honest, I haven't reviewed anything for a little while. But yeah, I don't think that's true. Christopher says, how would you market a one-time non-fiction book for writers? I see from your course that I can target authors of books I believe are related. You can, with Facebook or with AMS. Would this be the way to market? Probably not going to make lots in it, so budget might be quite small. Yeah, I'd be looking at Amazon ads, I think, for you. I would be concentrating on other books by other writers in your genre. Or, yeah, that would be the best place. That would be where I'd start, fairly low budgets, looking at it along those lines and try to just start slowly. Once you start to make a profit, if you can start to get an ACOS score of 40, 50%, you're making 20% return there. Reinvest that. Maybe look then to broaden out into Facebook ads. But I would start with AMS. You can certainly do well there. Sorry, I'm very sniffy tonight. Okay, Samantha, she says, and I'm hiding my face, so I'll take that off. Samantha says, regarding Facebook ads, what's the best way to measure conversions if you're going directly from a Facebook ad to the Amazon page? I've gotten mixed reviews in terms of affiliate links being allowed. Right, okay, so yes. So technically, this is the situation. Technically, you're not allowed to use affiliate links in the Facebook ads. However, that is the letter of the law. It's not enforced very often. I have seen probably five authors out of the 2,000 to 3,000 that have gone through the premium Facebook ads for authors course have got into problems with that. And you normally get a 5-day warning. They always have had a 5-day warning, then you can stop. So it's a risk. You're not risking your KDP account, you're risking your associate's account. But for me personally, that data is very valuable. I don't care about the commission. I really want to know how the ads are converting. So that data is valuable to me. But again, this is going to be something from author to author. You need to work that out for yourself as to whether that's something that you want to risk. Victoria, what are the best current strategies for Amazon and Facebook ads? A lot of low budget ads or scaling up on fewer ads? Is it different for each platform? That's a pretty broad question. I could probably talk about that for about half an hour. For me right now, I run like 800 Amazon ads at the moment, and less Facebook ads, much less in terms of Facebook ads. Probably the Facebook ads are running at a higher budget. The Amazon ads are lots of low budgets that accumulate to a fairly high budget. And for the Amazon ads, as I find something that's working, I'll scale it aggressively. So if it says, look, you spent the $10 budget yesterday, I'll double that. And then if it spends a 20, I'll double that. Provided, of course, that it's still making me money. And most of my Amazon ads are working really well at the moment. So I'm quite happy to continue to pump money in on the basis that it's pumping money out. But yeah, that's a fairly brief answer, but it's a pretty detailed, in-depth question there, Victoria. I hope that was helpful. Okay, Far Fiction says, am I still only using AMS sponsored product ads? And yeah, I was only using those to start with. I found product display ads were not that effective. I am finding them to be a bit more effective now. They're easier to scale because you're not dependent on someone searching for something for your ad then to be shown to them. They're just going to appear on the product pages of the books that you target. So it is easier to get them to scale. I have been running to a couple of similar authors. One of them has worked up to a daily budget of about $100 to $140. It's not normally spending that much, but it does spend several thousand a month. And it's pretty much on kind of a non-read-through basis, it's breaking even. When read-through is taken into account, it's about a 350% return on investment. So obviously I'm very happy to continue running that. Yeah, so I'm finding them more useful than I originally did, although the keyword ads tend to have the lower ACOS score. They're slightly more relevant. I think that's probably why they convert better. And then sub-question, now that you're all in with KU, have you seen an increase in the ROI on your AMS ads, and has it affected the ROI for your Facebook ads? Yeah, I mean, now I'm in KU. I'm not completely all in. I'm about 90% in. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's hard to track, very hard to track the KU component of a successful ad. But yeah, I've seen very strong page reads. I've been an all-star in the UK every month since I've been back, and getting close, I think, to all-star status in the US. Yeah, so and a lot of that is because I'm spending a lot on Amazon ads. I'm getting millions of impressions that therefore must logically convert into a lot of page reads. It is very hard to track those. One of the things that's so annoying about the platform is that you almost have to kind of wet your finger and hold it in the air. So yes, it's a tough one, but yeah, I'm very sure that there's a correlation between the AMS ads and the KU. Okay. Louise Lake says, "Hi Mark, I have a question about time organization. I currently work full-time, study university part-time, and design t-shirts. Right, so you're already busier than me. I've got a number of books I'm dying to write, but I've been out of the flow for a while. Do you have any suggestions on time management as I'm really struggling? Also, what are your thoughts on testing new books out on Wattpad? Okay, I've never used Wattpad, so I'm going to dodge that one. I can't help you with that. Time management. Yeah, I mean, I'm busy. Also, I have two businesses and a young family, so I'm pretty busy most of the time. And I tend to, for me, I can only speak personally. I'll give you a good tip that might help. Sprints are really good. So if you're writing something, work out. Let's say it's fiction. Break it a chapter down into sub chapters, beats if you like. Then sit down, put on some headphones, go to brain.fm. Something like that, just a bit of white noise, going to keep you focused, hopefully. It will always give you a timer. Preferably turn off the internet so you can't be distracted by doing things like this. And then write for 20 to 30 minutes. See how you get on. That will tend to mean I can write 500 to 600 words in that time. So maybe 1,000 words an hour. That's doable for me. The other one that I'm just discovering is, you can't see it here, but just here's my microphone. I am really quite impressed with dictation. So I've started to try Dragon. And I think just some blog posts and stuff like that, which I normally wouldn't do because I'm, just typing so much all day anyway. And I found that my words per minute was about 3,500. Which was like, oh my goodness, this could be interesting. So I'm definitely looking into that right now, and my impressions right now are pretty positive. So you could try that. Megan, another reviews question. Reviews being deleted regardless of verified purchase tag. In preparing for the launch, then how should we proceed? Are there changes that we should be making with our advanced reader teams? I haven't made any changes, so I don't see this. I'm not worried. I'm fairly phlegmatic most of the time, and I don't. You see people worrying and panicking a bit about stuff like that. I don't see that as a threat. The last launch, didn't notice any reviews being taken away. What can I say? It doesn't worry me particularly. And others may. I have seen other authors who have been really badly affected, but some of them were in that glitch that I mentioned earlier and got those reviews back again. But yeah, I can only really talk about my own experience, and that hasn't been something that's worried me too much to date so far. Okay. Joe Moon, what's the healthy number of impressions for a day on your Facebook ads? I've just started using Facebook ads and had an experienced author compile them for me. I'm doing USA and UK, and I'm at an evergreen genre that sells well on Facebook. Well, that's good. Impressions. Well, I don't focus too much on that. I focus on the return. A lot of the metrics, you can go down lots and lots of different rabbit holes when it comes to Facebook metrics. I would say, is it making a positive return? Is it selling books? Is it getting you subscribers at a decent rate? If it is, do more of it. If it isn't, do less of it. That's kind of as simple as I like to make it. I don't worry too much about impressions. Impressions are more important for the Amazon ads, for me anyway. Better indication of whether an ad is working as you want it to. Okay, Derek says, ads for authors or SPF 101. So this is Derek asking which course is right for him. Been writing for years, still need editing, but I think I've got 2 books close to ready in series. I'm planning on publishing first book end of 2018 or early 2019. I have been listening to marketing podcasts for a year while writing and just discovered SPF 3 months back. Where were you, Derek? Where were you? I understand need to drive people to website book launches and importance of email lists. I have the framework in place, such as website out with timed pop-up to request joining mailing list through MailerLite. I'm now on social media, although barely utilizing any of that. Again, just looking for guidance in this instance. Should I skip 101 and consider jumping right into ads? No, I would look at 101. I would want to be confident that I've got my my foundations were were firm. I mean, it sounds to me like some of those things I wouldn't do a pop-up. For example, I think pop-ups don't work as well as they used to. Google doesn't like them, and it may actually downgrade your website if you have a pop-up. So I suspect I think you'd get more out of 101. I don't know that you're ready for ads yet. Although, of course, if you want to look at ads, you can do. We have the guarantee, so lots of people will sign up, have a good look around. If they decide it's not for them, you can get your money back. Not a problem at all. And I suppose I should at least pay a little bit of lip service to the company line. You can check out ads at selfpublishingformula.com/ads for authors, and all of the information that you need should be there. Okay, Vicky, what kind of incentive would you offer if you're advertising one standalone book? First of all, not the first in the series. I'd give that away. You may not like that answer. But if you don't like it, then look at, say, a PDF. If it's fiction, you could look at a character sheet, missing chapters. Think laterally. There's lots of things you can give away. I mean, I've given away kind of a psychological assessment of Milton that worked really, really well. That didn't cost me anything as well, so certainly think about that. Okay, Jim. Hello, Jim. This question is more about craft than marketing. Oh dear. I don't really do craft, Jim, but I'll do my best. Because a well-written, good story is a fundamental skill in making this gig work, and it's sadly too often ignored by indies such as us. Yep, I agree. What's my process? All right. Quickly, my process is get a rough idea of what I want to what the story is. I'll have an idea, usually a location and a character, and maybe a situation I want to drop Milton into, and then I'll just write, and I'll see how it goes. So kind of pantsing with kind of beats, I'd say, is probably the way I do it. For example, the next Milton book is going to be set in Africa, and it's going to be about blood diamonds. So that's all I know at the moment, but I could probably start writing that tomorrow if I wanted to. I could have a conversation between Milton and a character and see how that plays out and see where Milton takes the story. I know him so well now that he kind of is very pretentious, but he kind of talks to me and will guide me in the direction that the story needs to go. But that's just practice, and I've written quite a lot of books. Okay, Deborah, how do I get my books on the shop shelves? Why would you bother? It's not important. I mean, it's hard for indies to do that, but really, I wouldn't waste too much time worrying about that. Most of your sales will be digital. That's where your focus should be. Rosemary asked me to walk through an example of how to optimize an Amazon ad. That's probably going to be, it's quite an in-depth question, Rosemary. I don't think I've really got time to answer that this evening, but that would be the kind of thing that we would cover in Ads for Authors, and it would also be something that we're discussing in the Mastery Facebook group. So apologies, I can't really get into that kind of granular detail in this forum. Stan says, your approach to using Facebook ads seems to focus on growing one's list and marketing to that list. That works best with authors with multiple books, especially fiction. What are some key things you would recommend to authors wanting to sell books directly from Facebook ads? Well, I cover that in the course. I mean, the whole module 4 is all about that. It's all about selling directly with no list required. I mean, a lot of it is straightforward. Make sure the product page is perfect, no typos, decent number of reviews, great blurb, great cover. Excellent look inside. Then hopefully you persuade people at a good price as well. And then hopefully you get people to buy it. The ad should be congruent, so don't have a kind of disjunctive experience between what the ad says and what the book promises. They need to flow. Provided you do that, those ads can work quite well. So yeah, that's all covered in the course. Julie says, what are the hoops UK authors have to jump in for AMS ads, and is it worth the effort? It is absolutely worth the effort. Hoops are, you just need to get a seller account or an Amazon Advantage account. It's basically it. But they're not easy, and the rules vary and change. So I've done it. I had it for a couple of years, 18 months maybe, and it was different then than as it is now. So I found it very hard to teach this because it changed a lot. So some people will say you have to be VAT registered. Other people will say that you don't. I had what was it? The account I had has been discontinued, although I've kept it. It's a tough one. I think at the moment it's a seller account you need, but it is something that I intend to try and cover in the course when we update it, when there's a bit more clarity from Amazon on exactly what you need to do. But to be honest, by the time I get around to that, I would not be surprised if UK ads have been added to the KDP dashboard. I'm sure that's coming. So maybe be patient is another option there. Kent Hinkley, hello Kent. I'm planning to launch my first novel about Vietnam with 100 terrific reviews. Well done. Any suggestions on a relaunch? Still building my email list. How do I refine the book categories? I can't locate proper listing. I don't quite know what that second question is. On the relaunch, I mean, I would be looking maybe give away something. Maybe not necessarily the book. Maybe something connected to it. Build a list. Build a bit of buzz, and then when you have a critical mass of people on your list, then sell the book. That might be something that you could try. You can use BookMap ads, you can use Facebook ads, Amazon ads. All of these will be effective with regards to that book. And if you've got 100 reviews, that's great social proof. So it's going to give you a good starting point. So you can certainly try that. Okay, another one about reviews. So this is obviously a key question at the moment. I am confused, says Hev. When friends of friends want to leave a review, how can you send them a link to the review page without Amazon algorithms counting them as friends and not allowing their reviews? Well, you can do that. There is a way. If you look at the search results, a lot of it is kind of time stamping and otherwise looks like junk. A good way to get a cleaner link is to clip it at the ASIN. So you'll see Amazon.com / and then there'll be a kind of alphanumeric code. Clip everything from the back of that and send them just that link. That should make it a little cleaner. And apparently, I can't speak for this other than anecdotally, it makes it less likely that the review will get swept up for those kinds of personal relationships. Other than that, I'm not convinced. People are saying, "Oh, Amazon is tracking you through Goodreads, is tracking you through Facebook." I certainly don't believe the latter is true. I think there's a lot of conspiratorial feeling about this. That a lot of it I don't believe. But saying that, yes, reviews are being they are definitely being taken down in some amounts. So, I don't know. That's what I would do. I would look at giving them a cleaner link, or failing that, just ask them to search, give them the details, and they can search it themselves on Amazon. It shouldn't be that hard to find. Okay, Diane. Hello, Diane. She says that I just want to ask how to get my book to the distributors who supply the shops. I want to see my book on bookshelves, but many bookshops only buy from the distributors. That's true, Diane. But I'm not Diane. Sorry, I've dealt with this before. Why? Why does that bother you? Is it a vanity thing? Nothing wrong with that. It's not necessarily going to sell any more books for you. So it wouldn't be something. It's not something that keeps me up at night. Let's put it like that. I would rather sell books, get my books into the hands of readers who want to read them, and I'm kind of agnostic about how those books are delivered. So, I'm probably not the person to answer that because it's very low down on my list of priorities. Okay, Susan. Sorry, I am really sniffy tonight. Susan says that my series is in KU and sales are not bad in the US. Congratulations, that's great. Any suggestions on how to get sales going in the UK and Canada? Facebook ads, Amazon ads. There you go. That's pretty simple. Facebook ads for sure. If you can get the Amazon UK account using that kind of workaround, then that would be a good way to do it as well. But congratulations, that's a good start. Okay. A question from Rosalie on regional marketing. I can't really help with that. That's not something I've ever done. Jonathan Gunson, he says, hello, Jonathan. Is there a requirement to have a Kindle version of the book in order to use Amazon ads? I'm doing print picture books with Amazon Advantage and will publish a Kindle version for the print version if needed to enable AMS ads. No, I don't think it is. I think you can, through an Advantage account, I think you can advertise pretty much anything. So that would, I know that with the account that I use, I can advertise print and digital. So that would be, I would look into that. DL Sharp, hello. What advice would you have for a debut author planning to launch with the first in a sort of standalone series of novellas, all from the same universe of a forthcoming full-length novel series? Worth it to advertise from the start? Worth it to put shorter works in Kindle Select or KU? Well, you can't put them in Kindle Select or KU. It's one or the other. It's both. So if you're in Select, you're in KU. I would start. My advice at the moment is to basically learn Amazon first. So I'd go into Select and learn how Amazon works, and then after 3 months, is basically see where you are. If it's working and you're getting the sales that you want, then stay there. If it isn't working, then I'd look to go wide. But you're only committing yourself just for that 3 month period. JD, hello JD. Covering myself there again, so let me read that one to you. I can't get Amazon to spend any of the funds I've budgeted to run either sponsored product or product display ads. I keep experimenting with different CPC bids, keywords, and targeted authors, but so far no luck. Does Amazon decline to advertise low-priced books? No. Mine's 99 cents or pence, and it has no problem showing those. Just sign up for your course, so perhaps the answer is in there. It probably is. If it isn't, I would be running. I try sponsor keyword ads, tons of keywords, 700, 800, 1,000. I've got in some cases, and just monitor the CPC. Maybe try 50 cents, 60 cents. See where you are. Just keep an eye on obviously the budget and how much is being spent. But there is a bit of arcane magic as to which ones take off and which ones don't. So I maybe would run variations on the same ad, and I'll have maybe one day, two the next, three the next, and maybe 2 of them will take off, 4 of them won't. And I can't work out for the life of me why that is. But I know that the more I run, the more the odds are, or just like by weighted numbers, some will start to go. And once they start to work, they tend to work for a long time. So slightly unsatisfactory, I know, but that's pretty much what I do to get those ads to run. Deborah says, for those of us with wide distribution, which venues do you feel are best bang for buck and growing business? At Apple, Kobo, Barnes & Noble, and Google Play. All of them. If you're wide, be everywhere and look to run ads to all of them and see one which works. It will depend on your genre, your ad strategy, lots of variables that I can't really comment on, but you want to be testing all of them immediately because, I've had author students who have taken focused a lot of attention on Google and are doing $2 or $3 grand a month on Google. I've never managed to do that, but I have been able to do that and better on other platforms. So just test and see which one works best for you. Pragati, hello Pragati, says, I recently tried a carousel ad. My CPC was much lower than I usually get, so I wonder what a click is for these types of ads. Well, you should be able to figure that out. Facebook will tell you. Does it count as a click when the reader scrolls through the carousel? No. Or does click mean the usual, which is a visit to your website? Yes, it does. It doesn't count. Scrolling does not count as a click, as far as I know. Anyway, Daniel Mansfield. Hello, Daniel. A lot of the questions I might ask are the same as many already suggested below. With one book finished and another on the way, rather than being a novel, they're more creative arts books. With William Blake being a bit of a hero to me, I copied his style of matching imagery with lyrical text. Question is, how do I sell a concept book to an adult audience? I'll be looking at Facebook to start with. If they like Blake, I'm pretty sure you'd be able to find Blake fans or fans of books that you like, and then try to market to them. I have seen some very, very niches successfully mined by authors using Facebook ads. So I'd be starting there. Okay. Sheila with a very long question. She says, thanks for putting on this live event. I'm planning on putting my non-fiction book on Amazon only initially and launching it week commencing 23rd of July. I'll do a PR article a few weeks before about this event to try and promote my book. Don't spend too much money on that. PR, I find, is an old-fashioned lever that has been superseded by some of the tools we have available to us these days digitally. Anyway, that was me interjecting. I want to try and get pre-orders, as I believe this really helps with the launch. I don't agree with that on Amazon. You could argue it makes the launch less effective because they're counted when they're made, so you'll rank higher in the pre-launch period, but then you won't get that big bump when you launch. For a new author, maybe you'll benefit from better visibility from a higher ranking in a pre-order period. Generally, I generally advise against pre-orders, but not everyone agrees with me on that one, but that's kind of the way I see it. But yes. Also, can my book be a self-published ebook but a traditionally published print book? Yes, it can. You make sure in your contract for the published print book, you reserve your ebook rights, but you can definitely do that. Jeff says, loves the show and the experience you freely share. One of my goals for the first of my first action fantasy series, launched earlier this year, is to get copies in the hands of genre-specific readers. I've done Book Barbarian. That's pretty good for sci-fi fantasy, as I think Jeff has realized. Plus several free book promos on KDP with FB ads targeting my genre in the UK and US. My concern is I'm not getting enough email subscribers from all these free copies. How can I more directly garner subscribers while my titles are in KDP Select? So I can't use them for book funnel giveaway. Look at giving something else away. So like a freebie, a PDF, character sheet, deleted scenes, anything. Whatever you think your readers might enjoy, a map you've got in the book. Think about it. Think laterally, and then just go for it. Good luck. Okay, Jerry, I'm struggling a bit here. I'm going to press on. I'm very hay fever today, but and also pretty knackered. But let's keep going. Jerry says, when you calculate read through by looking at your sales, do you do anything to account for an expected delay in reading all the books in the series? I do. Yep. So when you're looking at read through, I would say take a slice of time. 6 months, maybe 3 months, 6 months, and then look at the data within that period. You should be able to see the usual kinds of patterns and trends as they develop over time. Good question. Okay, now I had to scroll up there, so I'm going to lose where I was. So hold on. Here we go. Okay, so I know I've just missed. Sorry, everyone. Got it. I got it. Okay. Nikki K has a fairly long question. I wrote romantic comedy. Last August, Facebook deactivated my ad account when I didn't have any ads running. They'd approved the handful I'd had before. They wouldn't tell me what policies I violated, didn't answer any of my questions, told me there's no recourse, and didn't support my business model. Okay, I've emailed twice to appeal, but haven't even received a cursory message back. That is frustrating. I can't really comment on individual cases. I don't know what the ads look like. I have seen this happen before, not often, but obviously Facebook, like Amazon, is algorithmically driven. More often than not, this will be an automated decision rather than a person. I often find the accounts come back on again. That may not have happened to you, sounds like, but maybe check. It may have come back. Keep appealing. That's another way that often will work. Of course, you can set up another Facebook account with a different credit card. That's another way around that. But yes, can other advertising platforms make up for it? Absolutely. Amazon AMS is very powerful. I would say at the moment it is 50-50 between my level of excitement between those two platforms. I'm very enthused by AMS at the moment. So yes, you can. Okay, Christy, she says, my 4 books, soon to be 5 YA series, were selling great 5 to 6, 7 years ago. Sold 80,000 books. Now it's dwindled to maybe 200 copies a month, as I've been slow to out new releases due to personal hardship. I'm trying to get back in the game and close to finish the next book, but I feel like I'm starting all over again. I have an email list of 3,400, going without advertising, very good, and a small group of patient fans waiting for the next book. I'm having a hard time attracting new readers. I switched from Y to KU to see if that would help, but my overall numbers haven't improved. I do ad stacking to promote my free days, but I'm not sure I'm even making back the cost on those. Okay, well, maybe start to concentrate on measuring that. There are ways that you can measure whether those are being effective. I've also been trying to run AMS ads for months without success. Any advice? My budget is pretty small at this time since I'm barely bringing in a profit. Yeah, well, that again, my best advice there is to look at the course. And I know that's probably not what you want me to say, because if money is tight, it's not a cheap course. I would say maybe start concentrate on keyword ads to start with. Maybe research 300 or 400 relevant keywords. Start running those low bid, 25, 20 cents, something like that, and run variations on that and see if you can get them to start firing. If money is tight, then probably Facebook is not what I would recommend to start with. But maybe reinvest the money that you make from the AMS ads into different platforms as you start to get going. And good luck with getting that back on again, Christy. Okay. Lots of people saying hello. Scott's unwell. Hope you feel better, Scott. Okay. Leo Suarez, hello Leo, says, I started a sci-fi trilogy with one book and a prequel novella published so far. Would the ads for author's course work for me now? Should I wait until my trilogy is complete? I would probably, if it were me, knowing what I know now, I would be looking at advertising, perhaps giving away the prequel novella to build the list so that when you have your next one ready, you have an audience ready to go. I think that would be what I would do, Leo. And you can start to look about selling. You might wait until you've got another one, and then you can bundle the three of them together as a box set and start to advertise that with Facebook ads. But I would certainly be looking to build the list, and Facebook is pretty ninja at doing that. Okay, KC, hello KC. My first 3 Milton books in the Milton series are listed as being released on the same day with the box set a few days later. Is that a suggested practice for launching a new series, or is it based on genre? I didn't even know that was the case. I think I may have republished them potentially. To be honest, I can't remember. So I'm not going to be able to answer that question. It wouldn't be a suggested practice. It's just one of those things that seems to have happened over time. So there's no secret source there, as far as I'm aware. Okay. Let me go. Let's see what else I can find. David Farris says, can we expect lessons added to SPF 101 that tackles direct sales from an author website, whether that be through PayPal or BookFunnel, or selling ebooks versus paperbacks? Maybe. At the moment, I don't do it. I could very easily, but I would rather my sales were on platforms where they rank. So every sale you make on your website is not doing your Amazon rank any good, and you could have the best website in the world, but you're not going to compete with Amazon. So from my perspective, I think it's useful for things like audiobooks or upsells, things like that. But for the actual book itself, I'd much rather sell it on Amazon. Okay. Jim has sent a very nice comment about Redeemer. This is the new Milton book, and he said, I won't read it to the group. So I won't. But thank you, Jim. That's very, very kind of you. JD says that Amazon's changed from $50 lifetime to $50 per lifetime to $50 per year. I think that's right. This is the review requirement. I'm happy to be corrected, but I think it is $50 a year now. Christy says, do I know any industry pros that offer in-depth author consultations to help with branding, identifying target audience, Amazon blurb, product feedback, etc.? No. I don't. I'm asked quite a lot, and I've never found anyone that I would be comfortable sending people who've asked for my opinion to. So, no, I mean, there is certainly a hole in the market there. But no, I haven't really found anyone that I feel comfortable recommending, unfortunately. So sorry about that, Chris. I can't really help you with that one. Corrine says, I'm putting out a book trilogy. Any suggestions on the pace at which I should release them? All at the same time, or should I spread it out? Okay, so there's two schools of thought on this. Some people would like to dump them all at once. Others will like to spread them out. Personally, I put them out as soon as they're done. They're not making me any money sitting on my hard drive. I would rather just get them out there. So others will disagree with me on that one, and they feel it's an algorithmic benefit to dumping them all at once. I'm not convinced about that. So for me, when they're done, get them professionally edited, good to go, then start selling them. Okay, Sam, do I still recommend going instead of Kindle exclusive if you're just starting out? My philosophy on this hasn't changed for a while, actually. I think if you're just starting, I would go with Kindle to start with exclusively. Learn that platform, see how you get on. If you find it's working great, stick with it. If you don't, or it's not matching your expectations, don't stick with it. Go wide. But I think it makes sense to learn one platform rather than learning all of them at the start. Okay, Maria. Hello, Maria. Since Maria is one of the ads and 101 alumni, doing very, very well. Hope it's still going as well, Maria. Since some of your books are now in KU and others are wide, I'm experiencing some readers saying, "Oh, I can't get those ones now." Yes, I am. I think about going wide with a few of my backlist series, but I worry that it won't help because I don't have anywhere to go. most wide readers really don't want to read on Amazon. I think you're overplaying that last point. I was quite careful when I went back to Select. I wanted to test how many people would not buy on Amazon, and the number was about 5% of all the people who didn't shop on Amazon normally. So, I mean, there are some people who have like a fundamental philosophical problem with Amazon, but it's overplayed, in my opinion. And I haven't seen, I do get emails occasionally, but you just send back a response saying they're available on the Kindle app, which is great on iPad, iPhone, that's where I read on most of the time. And often they'll just go and buy it. So I won't worry about that too much. Sasha Stevens, I've published 15 books and I already make really good money, but these days I find myself swamped by admin and spend more time doing admin and less time writing. Lucy, so that's Mrs. Lucy, Mrs. Dawson, has told me on Facebook that you have a lot of automated systems in place and do all your own admin, emails, etc. I do. Yeah, I do. Great, isn't it? Can you say a bit more about that? How on earth do you have time to write? I don't know. I'm sometimes quite surprised about myself. The ads, once you get into a system, you can test them and check them within about 10 to 15 minutes a day. And I run lots of ads on lots of platforms. Email I do all myself. I think it's dishonest, potentially dishonest, not always dishonest, but to pretend that someone else someone is pretending to be you, I feel is not right. When someone is taking the time to write to you. So I always try to email back myself. But yeah, I mean, sometimes I do feel I could probably palm off more of that stuff, but this is my business and it's my baby, and I'm jealous. I'm jealous about it, and no one will care about it as much as you do, and that's kind of the problem. I would, on the one hand, I'd love to hand off some of that stuff. On the other hand, I don't trust anyone to do it as well as I can. So it's one of those things. Yeah, I don't know. I can't really. I'm not quite sure how I do it or whether I could do it better, but just about managed to get by most of the time. Well done on the success, Sasha. That's great. I hope that was at least a little bit helpful. Kevin is having problems writing a book on crack cocaine addiction, and how do I determine if there's an interest to the public? Well, write it, sell it, then you'll know. If people buy it, there's a market for it. You can kind of do. I mean, Facebook can be used for market research. You could run an engagement ad just to talk about the book coming out, and are people interested to see how that performs? You never know. But apart from that, the best way is just to see whether it sells. Good luck, Kevin. Okay, Lucy, do I know why we can target ads to certain big name authors on Facebook, not others? It seems haphazard. Yeah, it is haphazard. I don't know why it is. Facebook's indexing is patchy. You can't target me, for example, which I'm very pleased about, because that means that all the other authors that I've been targeting can't get their own back. But it is frustrating, I know, and there's not too much you can do about it other than think laterally and lookalike audiences, other ways those readers, other places they might hang out. You can usually get to them eventually, but not quite as directly as with that interest targeting. Okay, Pete says, if we can only afford one ad service starting out, would you recommend starting with Facebook or with AMS? At the moment, I would probably say AMS, probably, especially if you're exclusive to Amazon, because you're going to get some KU benefit in there as well. But that's a tough one. Yeah, that's a tough one. I think that's kind of an author by author question. AMS is easier to start with. Needs less assets. You don't need a separate image, for example. Facebook is more powerful, better targeting, much bigger reach. Amazon, people are looking to shop. Facebook, they're looking at people's dinners or cute cats. You need to get them in the shopping mood. So there's lots and lots of pros and cons. They're both important, though. I think most authors need to do both. I would probably, if you twisted my arm, I'd say AMS to start with. KC says the Amazon banner ads, you need an Amazon sellers account for that. These are the headline ads at the top of the screen. Yes, you do. You can't do that through KDP. Okay, Christian says, please put this up somewhere so we can watch it later. Yeah, all Facebook Lives live on the page forever, so you can enjoy it at your leisure when it is quieter. Christian, I hope it gets quieter for you soon. Okay. Pete says, I listen to podcasts, etc. while I'm writing. I wrote 2,000 words while listening to SPF earlier. I'm not sure what that says about the SPF, Pete. We weren't exciting enough. I'll have stern words with James. We'll try and correct that. Oh, potentially. Quite big news on some podcast guests in the next couple of weeks. I won't say any more now, but it's going to be an interesting couple of weeks, I think. Okay. Daniel was turning off the internet while trying to work. Good idea. And again, Daniel, this Facebook Live will live on the page, so you can always check back later. What else have we got? Maria says, am I still using Prestazon for AMS ads? Prestazon is a clever little plug-in or piece of software that works with the Amazon API. It makes the dashboard much more easy to interrogate. It has some automation in there as well. I do use it a bit. I'm finding the improved dashboard through the seller accounts is making it less important than it was. And also, there are some quite cool reports that are generated now that are going to be rolled out to everyone soon. Big bulk reports that you can manipulate in Excel that make Prestazon less important. Although it is cool. And between us, it's quite funny. I told them I found it through something else. I think I heard him on a podcast. And I checked it out and thought, yeah, this is good. I like this. I had a conference call with them and said, look, do you want me to tell authors that follow me that this is useful? And they said, no, we're not ready yet. But then they got back to me and said, where have all these authors come from? And that they have got a lot of authors now. And I've not made a big song and dance about it. So I think I've mentioned it to some people, but I haven't made a big play on it yet. But yeah, it's worth looking at. It's quite expensive. So it's not for everyone. $50 a month, something like that. But it is quite powerful. And there are definitely some benefits there. Okay, Joy. Hello, Joy. Quick question for your 99-cent first in series. How high did you bid for sponsored product ads, and what's your worst ACOS score? Oh, goodness. Worst ACOS score would be thousands. So those get switched off quite quick. My bids, it depends really. Depends really on who I'm targeting. If it's something where I think is going to be competitive, I'll bid high, maybe $1. And usually you'll end up 50 cents, something like that. Otherwise, I think 30 cents is a bit of a sweet spot at the moment. So I'm usually getting those clicks at maybe 20 cents when everything all said and done. So around there somewhere, I guess. Jonathan Gunson, what's my recommended release time between books in the series? Simple answer: as soon as the next book is ready. I don't mess around. I write it, I publish it, and then I write the next one. That's kind of my series, or my strategy there. Okay. Marilyn, I have 12,000 words. I'm in presses in finishing. Have I got enough words to get it out? If not, how many words do I need? I don't know what your genre is, Marilyn. A novel would be longer than that. Non-fiction, maybe 20,000 words. It's really impossible to say without knowing a little bit more, Marilyn. Safe says there's someone standing in your back. I think it might be referring to Dan Marino. He'd be welcome in here if anyone knows Mr. Marino, one of my heroes. Joe says, how long should we wait to see if Facebook ads are working? 5 days. Thank you. 5 days is pretty good. I'd say between 3 and 5 days. You'll have a good idea then whether it's taken off the way you want it to. KC, do I find KD Spy helpful in choosing keywords? Not massively, no. KDB Rocket I do like, but Spy not so much. Okay, so Paul is saying hello on holiday. Catherine is publishing an enhanced novel on Apple. Any promotional tips? Facebook ads. That will work very well on Apple. Perry says, I'm running into an issue with AMS telling me I can't use the same keywords for different bids. Is this new? I don't know. I've never seen that before. Do I have any advice on how to set up multiple ads with different keywords? A lot of my keywords are duplicated, so I don't. It's not a problem I've seen. If I see it, I'll comment on it, but I can't really without being able to replicate that myself. Jeff says, this is an easier one, our box sets created by simply creating a huge combined Scrivener file with custom cover, or is there another specific method? Yeah, that's one way of doing it. You could use Vellum, we'll put one together. You just basically have one big Mobi or EPUB file with the books individually in it with, as you say, a custom cover. Yeah, very easy to do that. Another one about review. So I've dealt with that before. Maria is still doing well. Great. Very good. Noel Nichols. Hello, Noel. I've published my book under my own imprint publishing company. Is there any merit in advertising my book through my own imprint as opposed to my author name? Well, I don't know. I do. So my books are published by Unputdownable, which is my imprint, but it's basically me. Unputdownable doesn't publish anybody else. Readers only care about the name they see. They're not going to see the imprint. I wouldn't worry too much about it. You are the brand. No one is buying it because it's on your imprint. So you can have it. It's nice. I like it. I mean, there are business reasons why I have Unputdownable, but it's certainly not something that would delay me from getting a book out there. Tori says, have I had any success using AMS ads for pre-orders? I know you really don't use pre-orders. Well, I did actually for Redeem. I did run pre-orders for that. I didn't advertise it though. So yes. Problem with pre-orders and ads is people like to buy now, right? I can only speak for myself. I very rarely pre-order. I would only pre-order. There's a cinema over there, and I will pre-order HD 4K movies as they come out because there aren't many of them, and I don't want to forget that I wanted Darkest Hour or Forrest Gump. So I'll order those in advance, and then Amazon will deliver them when they come out. I don't think that's normal behavior, and I would not do that for books. I don't think. Others will disagree, but for me, I'm a very much I want it. If I want it, I want it now. I don't want it in 6 weeks' time. So an ad wouldn't work on me. Would it work on other readers? Yeah, sure. But it's not something that I would spend too much time doing, probably. But I have to think about that. And my thinking is changing on pre-orders a little bit at the moment, but I haven't tried that really yet. Dawn says, is the loss of net neutrality going to screw us? No, probably not. I won't worry about that too much. Not good, but I don't think it's going to make too much of a difference to us as authors. Any word from Amazon when and if KU will show up in KU report, says Linda. Nope. But I've told them they need to do it, and we'll see what happens. But no, nothing that I'm aware of right now. Lon Torman says, we're currently advertising on AMS only. We believe Facebook has changed ad policies. We are long-time subscribers to your ads for authors. Has the course been updated to cover the recent changes? I don't know what changes you mean. I mean, the last time I re-recorded everything was when the ads manager and the power editor were merged. So I had to re-record everything, which was joyous, let me tell you. But I'm not aware of any significant changes to the algorithm. I'm still advertising heavily on Facebook, and I haven't seen any changes. So I think you'd have to specify, Lon, what changes you mean. But anyway, I'm pleased that you like the course, and if there's any further information, then obviously, yeah, let me know. Okay. Chris says, I'm in Amazon Advantage and in the UK. How do I make use of this? If you're in Advantage, you should be able to use AMS ads for anything on Amazon. So that's how you make use of it, Chris. Linda says, are AMS ads good for box sets? Notice my box sets are killing it. Congrats. Thank you. Yes, they are. Absolutely. They're good for everything, really. But box sets are valuable. They look valuable, and they tend to convert pretty well. Jonathan, about sprint writing, did I say 30-minute sessions? Yep. 30 minutes is a good time for sprinting. 20 minutes sometimes. Just use focus. You focus. You know what you're going to write. Get the words down. Just spurt them all out. Editing comes later. That's a good way to write reasonably quickly. Bethany says, such a big fan of me. Thank you very much. That's very kind. I'm writing but having a ton of problems with the structure of the story. Any tips on how to strengthen it, make it the best it can be? Well, you could go for a walk. I find that works quite well to focus problems. And you'll often, when you're not focused on the problem, you just kind of deal with it in subconscious. At least that's how it works for me. Otherwise, structure, I would say, when I was writing The Black Mile, which is probably my most plot-heavy book, and the first one I self-published, I had a big corkboard and lots of index cards, and I would plot the major chapter points, the twists and the beats would be plotted that way, then I'd fiddle with them physically. You can do that with Scrivener now. Scrivener will enable you to have a virtual corkboard that you can try. That might work. Otherwise, I mean, just write. Listen to your characters. They'll tell you where the story needs to go. Sometimes. Okay. Lorna says, "Can we use Amazon affiliate links on FB ads?" I've heard yes and no for this. You can. You absolutely can. Should you? That's up to you. Technically, it's in breach of the terms of service for Amazon associates. Many authors consider that the potentially very small risk of having a problem with your account and really getting a 5-day warning from associates is obviated by the extremely useful data that the program provides. But it is not something that I can recommend. It's really for authors to decide. But obviously, that data is very helpful when working out whether your ads are working or not. Okay, Jack. Hello, Jack. I've got 2 books in a series. First is 99 cents and the second is $4.99. If I'm using AMS, which book would be best to advertise for a positive ROI? Well, the first one will be the obvious one because you'll get sale. If the first one is good, you'll get read-through from the first to the second. You might get reverse read-through from the second to the first, but I would be concentrating on much more on the first one. Obviously, I've got 30 books now or something, maybe even more than that. And most of my ad spend, 80% probably goes on the first book in the Milton series. That's pretty key for me. Okay. What else have we got? A couple more. Dave Boyce. Hello, Dave. Thanks for doing this. Working on my first book and about to enter the formatting process. I hear great things about Vellum, but don't have a Mac. Well, you can use Vellum with something like Mac emulation software. Is there? Have they made a? This is late, and I can't remember. I don't think they've made a PC version of Vellum. It is great. Alternatively, you can get someone to do it for you. So I use Polgarus Studios, Polgarus, Polgarus, and they're great, pretty cheap, $60 to get a book formatted in all the formats that you need. That's a good way of doing it. If you have a Mac, then yeah, Vellum is awesome. But otherwise, yeah, get a pro to do it. Someone like Polgarus would be great. And yeah, no PC version of Vellum, says James, I think. Is that James or John? I'm guessing that's James. Okay. Linda says, how do... Luke says, go get some rest, Mark. Yeah, I'm feeling it. Luke says, Linda says, how do I estimate the impact of your ads on KU? You have to basically make an educated guess. You can look to compare the before and after and see what the change in KU reads was. That's probably the best way to do it, to take a benchmark. So no ads, look what the reads were like for a month, say, and then advertise and see what the difference is. And provided there's nothing else, as Sherlock Holmes would say, everything else you can discount. Whatever is left, no matter how improbable, must be the reason for the change. So he said something like that, but you know what I mean. Yeah, look at a benchmark. That would be what I would say. Okay. Marilyn has qualified her question. So I'm writing fiction. So would that be at least 20,000? Thanks for your advice. Can it be less? It can be less, but it wouldn't be a novel. A novel is like, I think, a minimum of 60,000 words, maybe a touch more. 20,000 would be a novella or maybe a novelette. But yeah, absolutely. If that's the length of the story, that's the length of the story. So don't feel you need to inflate it because someone told you need to get 60,000 words. The story is what it is. When it's done, it's done. Get it out there and see what people think. And good luck. Good luck, Mario. Okay. Paul is working through Ads for Authors and loving it. Thank you very much. I should actually pop that up there. So there we go. You can see if you want to buy Ads for Authors, that's where you go. selfpublishingforum.com/ads for authors. I'll pop that up again at the end. And yeah, so Paul's enjoying the course, focusing on Facebook ads first. Should I put that on hold and do an AMS ad first? It's up to you. What do you fancy? I mean, I would probably be looking. Yeah, do one first. If you're getting on with Facebook, then get on with that and see how you get on. Yes, see how that plays out. But yeah, Amazon will still be around. They're pretty easy to set up. You could do both, to be honest. Pretty straightforward. Okay. Holly says, how many books would you suggest having out before really investing in the marketing? Well, I would be marketing immediately, and this is me speaking with what I know now after doing this for a few years. I would be looking to build my list, which is marketing, as soon as I've got something to go. In terms of sales ads, aggressively, yeah, probably a couple, 2 or 3, but probably 3. But yeah, in the meantime, you should be building your list. That's going to be your most valuable asset as a creative professional, is your mailing list. So definitely be looking at that. Okay, Monica. Hi, Monica. Has a popular character in my main series, but she's also in 2 spin-offs. I think I'm losing readers because of the different series now. Should I consolidate those spin-offs into the main series? That's very hard to say. I'd need to read those, I think, to have a better idea about that. I don't know that I see that. I've got Milton, Beatrix Rose, and Isabella Rose, all within the same kind of world, and I get people going through all of them. I think people sometimes give readers not enough credit. If they want to find something, that they will find it. Okay, I think I'm killing my maybe slowing down a bit now. So I'm coming up to, it's 10 past 11. Goodness, it's late. I'm going to call it a night now, I think. I'll try and answer those other questions later on, perhaps tomorrow, especially if James or John kicks me to remind me to come back in and answer some questions. And I'll probably do this again during the launch period for Ads for Authors, which, just one more time, if you are interested in Ads for Authors, it's not coming up. So it's all going on tonight. It's at selfpublishingformula.com/ads for authors. All the information that you need is there. You can find it there. Try one more time so I get it on screen for you. Probably not going to work. No. Yeah, so it's selfpublishingformula.com/ads for authors. Everything you need is there. There's live chat. There's all kinds of things that you can ask us about the course, which is open for about 10 more days, and then it won't be open again until November. So I'm very, very tired, as might be obvious. I hope this has been useful. I will do it again in the next 10 days or so. And if you're on the course, dig in, enjoy it. We're getting great feedback so far. If you're on the fence, you can ask for an honest opinion, and I promise that's what you'll get, whether it's right for you now or whether you should wait for something else. In the meantime, I will say have a great rest of your day, wherever you are in the world, a great rest of the week. And I'm going to go and have hot chocolate and go to bed. So I will see you guys all later and back on the podcast on Friday. So happy writing, happy book selling, and I'll see you next time.